Goldman's got a note out just now. Jan Hatzius is saying because it would be difficult if the president does not win any of those states, quote, there's a good chance the election outcome will be clear on election night.
Right. I mean, I think that's what the market's saying. OK, so the collective voice of the market, both yesterday and not just the morning, but when the Nasdaq rallied in the afternoon and today with the futures are just people who say, you know what, we cannot afford after last week with the market being down. We can't afford to wait for the outcome. We have to presume that the outcome is going to lead to some sort of conclusion, period. And a conclusion's good. Last week was the week that I think anticipated what we would have had this week. And, David, sometimes the market is too smart for its own good. A lot of people got out last week saying, you know what, I got to get out ahead of what is going to be a big decline on Monday and Tuesday. And they fooled themselves. The traders were just they were doing so much activity, David. I mean, the idea that the Nasdaq was getting crushed and then they raised the Nasdaq. I mean, what is that? I mean, I think people just were afraid. I don't want to miss what happens after we know who becomes president. And it's not going to be as contested with the hundreds of lawyers as we think.
Well, listen, I think many of us hope that that's the case because otherwise it's certainly going to be a more difficult period. And people are girding for that possibility, Jim. Let's not forget, though, the path of COVID, what's going on around the world. I'm just curious. You're referencing, of course, the declines we saw last week. How much and can you figure out how much is dependent on and or connected to what are continued rising cases around the world, continued, I don't want to call them lockdowns. Well, they are in some countries. Lockdowns. They are. Not here, and it doesn't appear we're going there. Or how much is just trying to position for whatever the election outcome is at this point?
Look, I think that the way you monitor that is oil. I think oil is a true arbiter of growth right now because the supply is pretty constant, but the big sign of a belief of decline in demand that is led by the 770 million people that live in the Eurozone. And I think that what that said was things are getting dramatically worse. They seem to have completely lost control of it. I know there are a lot of people, the so-called anti-maskers, David, who are saying, well, you know what? They have all these rules and it's not cutting it down. The rules aren't being enforced. All right. The rules are not being enforced in these countries. And one of the reasons why things are so out of control is that they're not shutting anybody down like you did in New York, where they visited you and they said, you're done. Yeah, the place next door to me.
Our country.
You're done.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.